Bitcoin has seen some more volatility over the last 24 hours. In this video, we're going to jump down into the recent technical analysis for BTC and take a look at what I think is likely to happen next. As I get into the video, if you find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. Helps spread the content to more like-minded individuals and builds out that cheeky community. If you're new to the channel, why not consider subscribing as well? And tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, you are missing a trick. Check it out. Linked in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. So why not go ahead and check it out? Let's make a start with this one though. So Bitcoin paired up with USDT on the hourly chart, and Binance is the data source. Following on from previous videos, we can kind of see that we were heading up towards the $24,218 and $24,218 to about $24,503, this yellow box area here. Now, we started to move up. We have already met the minimum expectations of a C wave, which was this one here, basically just peaking above 23,897. That would be our minimum already met. However, we can look at this as a three-wave structure in itself. We can come up here, down, and then back up again, but it does look like we have the potential to fall short of our actual C-wave target highs. Okay, so let's go ahead and just dive down into this. Okay, so we do have a pretty much a nice straight run to the upside here. This kind of mimics a five-wave structure. It would be a really tight one, but we can kind of take a look at it like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so this means that if we start with 5, we end in 5, basically meaning that we will be looking for another five-wave structure to move to the upside. Do I think it has started yet? No, I don't think so. I think we've got a little bit too much overlap here. It could be a diagonal, of course, so we could always think of maybe this next five-wave structure actually being something a little bit similar to this, where we have a kind of diagonal structure to a degree, but I don't think it's actually started yet. We'll keep a close eye on that. But essentially, we'll be looking for a move to the upside. The problem here is we might have to retrace a little bit deeper. Maybe towards the kind of $23,235 level, which would be an area of support and consolidation previously. So if I just draw this on approximately, just give you a bit of an idea as to kind of where I think we could retrace down to: 23,100, 23,235, something to that effect. And it would basically have to be a three-wave structured move to the downside like this, and then we would follow this up with a five-wave structured move to the upside. But like I said, it does look like our slightly higher target range of 24,218 to 24,503 is probably going to be a little bit hard to kind of see come to fruition. We'll take a look at this. We'll take these estimates, right? We'll be really kind and use the higher range. We can see that we might just about be able to possibly hit the $24,220 level. But it'll be interesting to kind of see how that plays out. Now, from our momentum indicator, we are heading into oversold, but we're not there yet on the hourly chart. We can kind of see that it's just ticking over into that oversold area. On the 4-hour chart, if it will load, we'll have a look. We've still got plenty of momentum to the downside. So coming down into that slightly lower range, I think, is something that we should be preparing ourselves for. On the daily, we're obviously oversold. I think on the 8-hour, we still have a very similar situation to the 4-hour. Let's see if it will actually load. Lots of calculations occurring, and obviously a lot of things going on. Yes, we can see that got some downward momentum there. 12-hour has some upward momentum, then got to come down. Same with the 20-hour. Daily is already down here, but don't expect too much from the daily, in my opinion. We'll see some volatility, but I don't think there's going to be terribly too much before we start to correct on down. I'll talk a little bit about the macro picture this afternoon, so do watch out for the next Bitcoin video that will come out after this one. But for the most part, it looks like we have this small progression to the upside to be had. Now, from a smart money concepts point of view, we've taken care of all of those fair value gaps, all those imbalances. They've been taken care of. We can, of course, see that we came up to our equilibrium. The equilibrium essentially is the area between our discounted and our premium ranges. At the moment, we have a strong high and a weak low, basically indicating that we are likely to break the low and keep the local top as a strong top for now. This is mainly because we are below equilibrium and we've only really tested this area once. So again, at the moment, this would indicate that it is weak. Although it does look like there's a lot of internal order blocks down here. That's what all this green is symbolizing. And so it does look like there's a lot of buying potential down here. And the discounted range is obviously right down in this low area. Again, this is about 22,700 through to about 22,850. So that discounted range is kind of really going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on. So from here, what else can we note from a smart money concepts? Let me get rid of the stochastics there. We can see that we had a change of characteristic to the upside. It's just a minor one right here. Okay, and we've come down pretty commonly. Normally what happens here is you kind of get a change of characteristic and you move in that direction and then you kind of correct back down. Now we have come down reasonably deep here, but I still think this change of characterization is valid. So like I said, I think coming down into these lower order blocks, which happen to coincide with the expectations of this kind of 23,235 right in here, right? We can kind of see it right in there. That's kind of this order block, and then allowing us to kind of think of that entire structure as a 53535. Sorry, a 535. I don't think we've started the trend upwards or anything like that. So it does look like we potentially have a slightly bigger move to the upside to be had, but we have to kind of move down before we can do that. Now, the other thing to bear in mind is the major characteristic change is still valid right here. So again, we know that we are still bearish on a slightly larger time frame. We can't kind of get ourselves too giddy and too kind of carried away thinking that we're going to the moon when we do have this larger characteristic change on the market structure, and it is indicating that we have to go down, not up. So it'll be interesting to kind of see how it all does play out by the time well, yeah, I guess basically by the time we kind of close the next monthly candle, we'll have a good idea, I think, on where this market is going. But yeah, it'll be interesting to kind of see how that kind of microstructure plays out. Now, if I bring this up into our daily, we'll just load this up. We can, of course, acknowledge there is still a lot to kind of talk about here. We are above the equilibrium area and we have a strong high with multiple tests of the premium area. Okay, so when it comes to these things, we have to bear in mind that actually we've been consolidating up here for quite some time, and we do have ourselves a situation where we have a premium range that is of equal high and is a strong high potential. It basically means there's high probability that we're going to have to start to correct down. We can also see that we're above equilibrium and price does like to come back down to equilibrium. We have fair value gaps or imbalances in the order books here, and here. Okay, so a move down towards 19k would take all of those into consideration and remove those out of play. And we do have a weak low, and the weak low really is something that we haven't really overly heavily tested. And yeah, it's going to be one of those. Like, I still think we have lower lows to come. And, smart money concepts on this daily kind of agrees with me in that kind of regard. We also have the major break of structure on the daily down here. It is yet to be broken. We've had no major change of characteristics to indicate the structure has now changed bullish from bearish. It still remains bearish. So we have to kind of keep those things in mind. Now, if I come to the weekly, on the weekly, we can see the bigger kind of range down at the bottom here, taking us down to 17,000. We do have a minor change of characterization, or change of character right here. Again, we're yet to see if that's going to get a break of structure, and given everything else, I don't think that's highly likely. And as I kind of zoom out on this weekly chart, guys, you can see, if I just pull this into play here, ever since like 2018, this is the only fair value gap remaining here, and therefore we should consider what that means. It will mean that all other gaps on this weekly chart have been filled, okay, during price action. This basically essentially tells us that there's a high probability that this one also will get filled at some point, which means $17,000 is something that we should be considering and something we should take into consideration. Now, I will say that on a bigger macro piece here, we have a bullish change of structure at this macro level that hasn't been broken. That even though we're in this bearish time with all these micro movements and things that are going on the kind of like the daily chart, for example, we still remain bullish on Bitcoin at the true macro level. The market structure does indicate that we are highly likely to go up again into new all-time highs. So there's positivity there. We're not in a long-term kind of, bearish situation where, we can say Bitcoin's not going to go up into a new all-time high for a long, long time, at least not yet. It is possible, however, that if we were to come down lower than $14,000, we're going to break this and we're going to have a new characteristic change on this weekly time frame that would be bearish, and that would be a bit of an issue. But it is what it is, and, you know, we'll have to deal with it as that time crosses. I'm going to leave this video right there, though, guys. Just gives you a brief idea as to kind of where things are currently sat with Bitcoin. I'm expecting some volatility, but essentially the picture remains the same. We are still looking macro bearish, but short-term bullish, essentially. So there's still some room to the upside, some gains to be made if you want to be trading on the smaller time frames. But we don't want to kind of trick ourselves into thinking there's a great kind of dollar cost average hodling potential and we're just going straight to the moon now. A bottom is in. Essentially, it does actually appear that we have to come down even further yet before we can kind of really get into good, strong dollar cost averaging and hodling bags and all that kind of stuff. If you found this useful and informative, hit the like button. I do appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will stay up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done that out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.